Bye-bye. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, see the purple across the street. Hilarious. Hilarious, hilarious, hilarious. Look at another perp right here. Look, as soon as standing there, he sees me. Look at him, look at him. Tell you, that's what happened when they raise them, when single mothers raise them. Right? That's what happened when single mothers raise them. Now, does he even live there? Right? So I keep telling y'all, they don't stop targeting me. They engage in stalking, and they don't stop. They'll use different people. That way, you know, they'll say, well, that's not really not stalking. Yes, it is. Doesn't matter how many people you use. It's stalking, okay? They try to get around the stalking laws by using different people, you know, every day. All right, or recycling them a couple weeks later or a month later or so. Oh yeah. You know what they do? Look at them over there too. Look. All right. Hilarious. 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 Anyhow, welcome back to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, Targeted Individual Experience. Again, showing you guys exactly the stalking cult, right? These criminals who are controlled by their cult leaders in the churches, and who are also members of the New York Predator Police Department, right? Or the New York Predator Department, I should say. Oh yeah, it is what it is that they do. Again, using different people. What's up, dude? Oh yeah. Stay strong, my brother. Stay strong. It's funny how, like I keep saying this, it's interesting that I can show you guys how, you know, civilians can be radicalized, turned into criminals, right? And then they will say, well, you know, you were born a criminal. No, you're not born a criminal. You're made into a criminal. I understand that, right? And when they can get the civilian to engage in criminal activity, that's what they do. When I talk about, you know, the Stanley Milgram experiment, right? The Darren Brown experiment on his YouTube show, not YouTube show, but his show that's on YouTube called the Darren Brown Experience. You will see how, again, go look at it. It's called Game Show, Darren Brown Game Show. And you'll see how people can commit crimes when they believe that those in the authoritative positions give them the authority to do so. All right, and so they won't be held. You're welcome. And so they won't be held accountable because those in the authoritative position gave them that order. It's the same thing they try to say. The German soldiers, right? The generals who say, I was just following order. Right? No, you don't get to do that. You don't get that excuse. Right? And this is what they do. Right? When they get civilians to poison you as a TI, poison me, right? To go engage in covert drugging, honey trapping, and so forth. Because you are getting something out of it, right? That you are willing to destroy another person's life, whether it be because of your religious belief or what have you, or because you're in a cult. LZZ 3290, another vehicle. Again, I don't think I've seen this vehicle before. But yeah, you hear the sirens in the background? Okay, now you can start walking now. As I walk past, she stretched out her hands like this. You know, the whole begging theme? See, they're trying to be very sneaky now. Like I said, once you got them, you got them. They try to be sneaky, but when you got them, you got them. You know, when you got them, you got them. They try to be sneaky. And one of the things that you'll see them do too is you'll see them look up. Just watch the eye movement, okay? If you can see it on here. Watch their eye movement. They're constantly looking up at my head, because I have on my hat. So they'll constantly do stuff like that. Stick their tongue out and look at my hat. Come on, dude. All right, look at that. Blocking the vehicle. Walk that way, ma'am, and then walk that way. You can get over there? Okay. Oh yeah. You know, the New York Predators Department woke me out of my sleep this morning and immediately started using their sirens. Right? And then it was a little bit harder for me to go back to sleep. But I eventually went, let she come back here. So he comes sticking his tongue out and she comes, turns so you can show her back. Let me show you how to do it. You know, I love fucking with them because they think what it is that they're doing is it's having an effect on me. No, it doesn't. I know exactly what they do. Right? How they try to use Pam and how they try to use these honey traps. Her. First of all, like I said, me and Pam have not been in a relationship for what, almost 7 years now? Was it 7 or 8 years? 8 years. Okay? That was about 8 years. No, I would say about maybe 8 or 9 years. I mean, so come on. So, you know, you would think that they'll get tired of that shit, right? But I know, see, they think that I'm playing into their game because I believe what it is that they... No, I don't. I just play because I want them to continue playing so I can continue to expose what it is that they do. I want them to believe that I'm playing their game, but I'm not. I'm not. Look at them across the street. Look. Let me tell you, he goes across the street, right? Just again, stalkers. Stalkers. But anyway, like I was saying, you know, that's what they believe. I'm like, I don't really, you know, that's it. It don't matter to me. Like I said, I had to just learn what it is that they were doing and how they will try to manipulate me and then try to use her. A lot of times it's emotional manipulation, right? When it comes to these cult programs, right? These person persuasion programs, it's about manipulating you. It's about manipulating you emotionally. It's about the hand signal. It's about manipulating you emotionally, manipulating you psychologically. It is about engaging in crimes against you, right? And believing that they can get away with it because those in positions of authority, whether it be their cult leaders, right, or whether it be those in law enforcement, right, predator law enforcement. There's the homeless theme. Look. Again, look at the eye movement. Look at how they'll look at me and then look at the homeless guy as he's walking past me. Right? So when I talk about the staring campaign, that's what I talk about, right? Because they're trying to silence me. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Right? So as I was saying, the New York Predators Department woke me up early this morning around. I went to bed after 3, so they woke me up out of my sleep, and then start using the sirens. And then on top of that, having my neighbors, upstairs neighbors, engage in, again, knocking on the floor. And I thought that I was laying on the bed. I thought it was knocking underneath my bed, right? But I realized it was my back. Right? So when I turned or how I positioned myself, my back was cracking, and it kind of sounded like a knock. I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if they were, under the floor or have you, right? Engaging in that sort of, the sort of threat, right? They try to threaten you or have you, or we'll kill you when you're sleeping and all this nonsense. And I'm like, well, listen, go ahead, man. I'm documented, so you're just going to prove what I've been saying, okay? You see, like I said, the one thing that they don't want is to be exposed, but they've already been exposed, right? They've already been exposed. I've already exposed them. Other TIs have already exposed them, okay? And what they're trying to do now is, save their own asses, but they already got caught. And that's not going to work. It's not going to work. And like I said, because they're in a position of authority, see, they don't want what they've done to us as TIs, to me, comes back to them. That's what I'm talking about. When I talk about the hypocritical mindset of certain people, this is what I talk about. They will engage in crimes and destructive behavior against a group of people or individuals, right? Because, they call themselves religious or Christians or have you, and always tell you, you're going to get your karma. But they never worry about they're getting their karma, right? It's like the slave masters, right? The enslavers of our people, right? They go to church on a Sunday and go lynch a black man, a black woman, a black child, have enslaving black people, have black people, beaten, lynched, killed, enslaved, even babies as young as 2 years old in the cotton field, right? And they never worry about their karma. And they read the Bible and they talk about God is love and Jesus is love, right? Yet doing the most inhumane, atrocious things to other human beings, right? And they never worry about their soul going burning in hell, but they'll tell you and each other about how their soul going burn in hell. And what that say about the minds of a people like that? What does that say? They already said, black people don't have souls, and they used to eat us because, we were cattle to them. Right? They used to eat us because we were cattle. And some of them still believe that very same thing. So what does it say about that mindset? Like I said, they can psychoanalyze us and analyze us every which way, because they know the personality that they've created within each and every one of us. And it's when we deviate from that, it is when we find our true self, our African self, the love of ourselves and our people, is what they don't. Right? Is what they don't want. When you see what's happening, when I talk about and I show you guys who the true criminals are, Negropeans just ignore it. They ignore it. Okay, they ignore it. Right? When other people talk about the food poisoning that they do to us every single day to shorten our lives because they have a population reduction plan. And we're like, well, I don't believe this, right? That's what we always say, I don't believe it, right? And then when you hear Campbell's Soup executive said, that when asked, do you eat the product that you sell to other people? Particularly, and they'd be like, that's not fit for human consumption. I'm not eating that. Look, GUD 3246. Number 32 again, right? Then you start reading cereal. That's why I don't buy my kids cereal anymore. I don't. Right? Because when you read the ingredients, particularly if you go to Canada and you eat the cereal, right, it tastes just as good, but it might have a shorter shelf life, but it don't have a lot of the poison that they do. That cereal here in America have. It doesn't. Okay? So again, we tend to ignore these things. And I keep saying, why? Because we worship people with money. Right? We worship people with money and then want to preach about Jesus and his disciples. Right? So again, you got to look at what it is that you say you believe in. You got to look at that. Look at what it is that you say you believe. And you tell me you believe in Jesus, but you worship these preachers who are multi-millionaire, who are private jets, who are locking the church's doors if you don't give them the money that they want. Right? And at the same time, you're reading in your Bible that Jesus went into the temple and he overturned the tables because he saw the Pharisees was in there, the priests and the Pharisees was in there exchanging money. Right? But you go to church and call it the house of God. Right? You know what I'm saying? It's a hypocritical way of thinking. Because the behavior don't fit what it is that they claim to believe in. Right? And anybody to tell them the truth. And anybody who tells them the truth. Right? Anybody who tells them the truth. As you walk past me, the dude walk past with the mask on, saw the threats. And the two Nicaraguan females. The older one, the younger one. You know what I'm saying? Doing the steering campaign. Listen, like I said, I'm not afraid to die. But I know if and when I die, if it's not natural, that their deaths are not going to be natural either. So that's why, like I said, I continue to do what I do. I continue to speak out because I'm not you can't scare me with death. You need to understand that, right? You can't. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. All right? Because you're going to meet your end too, and you're going to meet it in the worst way. Anyway, as I was saying, right? And Negropeans, like I said, Negropeans are so dumbed down, it's unbelievable. Right? I always say this, we've had people who came to tell us the truth and we ignore it. But then we talk about Jesus getting to speak the truth. Right? Negropean will vote for a corrupt Christian as opposed to voting for backing somebody who's not a Christian, but that's going to do something positive in their life. Whereas they've been voting for these Christians all their life, and they're the crookedest. Christian politicians, they're the most corrupt. Right? And because you may not be religious or be of a different faith, they don't want to vote for you, even though you're going to make their life better. See, the one thing I learned about Christianity, that's why I have to get away from Christianity, is that Christianity dumbs you down. Right? It puts you into an extreme secular mindset. Helicopters again. Right? It puts you in an extreme secular mindset because Christian doctrine is not rooted in truth. That's why you have so many different denominations. That's why you have so many different versions of their Bible. Because it's not rooted in truth. Okay? And Christianity is the only religion where you have so many denominations, so many versions of this so-called holy book. Your book can't be holy if you have so many different versions of it. Oh yeah.
I got a question. Is this a select source?
Yeah, man.
Doorway must be clear. Step in or use another door. The doorway must be completely clear.
Go ahead, sir. I mean, go ahead. Go ahead,
you move down, please?
Next bus. Use another door. Bus is not moving. There's one way to change.
Ma'am, step down the line.
Supposed to be behind the line. Give me the door. The bag, everything, give me the door whatsoever.